Yeah, you came in the military a little later in life. That's pretty cool. There he is. There you go. Hey, welcome, Eric. Welcome, Dave. So we'll kind of get started here. Let me see. I had to redo the quick intro here. Let's see how I did. Hey, today we're joined by two incredible leaders who are not only veterans, but are now shaping the way other veterans succeed in the civilian world. First, David Granillo, Marine Corps veteran who spent over a decade building, training, and leading recruiting teams across the Corps. Today, he serves as the VP of recruiting at the Assurance Group, where he designs veteran-focused pipelines that help service members transition into sustainable, high-income careers. His passion is making sure veterans don't just land jobs, but find careers that honor their skills, leadership, and resilience. Alongside him is Eric Manderbach, former Green Beret and EOD officer, who knows firsthand what it means to lead under pressure and adapt quickly. He now brings the same mindset to his role as sales manager with the Assurance Group, where he mentors others to find financial independence and build successful post-military careers. Together, Dave and Eric represent both sides of the transition, the recruiter who builds the bridge and the SF leader who's walked across it himself. Please join me in welcoming Dave and Eric. Welcome, guys. I managed to get that quick in there enough?
Yeah, that was great, Ernest. Thank you.
How awesome! So, hey, I'll start off with one from for you. So, from your perspective as a VP of recruiting, what do you see as the biggest gap between what veterans bring to the table and what civilian employers understand?
I would say the biggest gap is the language, transitioning the language over. I've seen resumes even in my current job now, looking over resumes. You see somebody talk about platoon sergeant versus saying, you were a project manager. I think really that language is huge. I mean, recently I got a resume where it was an infantryman from the Army, and he talked about locating and disabling the enemy. And with that, I mean, for me, prior military, I can understand what he was saying. I could adjust it. But if it was somebody else, maybe not the greatest phrase there, our bullet points. So I would say that transition of language.
Yeah, professional killer. What about you, Eric? Have you seen similar?
Yeah, definitely echo what David said there. Additionally, and I know it's kind of a cliche point, but it's again finding the purpose, what drives you to get up out of bed every day. I think a lot of people lose that direction as well, transitioning out.
That's a fact. Oh, you already got a question. Keaton, go ahead.
Hey, first, I apologize for my unprofessional appearance. I'm battling COVID right now. But on resumes and being in the military, sometimes a lot of people keep on saying to, use numbers like star statements and the impact on what we've worked on. Sometimes we always joke while I was on the ship that it's monopoly money. Like I repaired generators for F-18s. Each generator is $500,000. It's a $500,000 asset, and I fixed 175 of them in my 5 years on the boat across 2 deployments. So, if I go out there and I say in the course of one deployment, I saved the U.S. Navy, $75 million in replacement costs. To me, it's not that it's ungenuine. I really did do that, but it's money that is like a value is just kind of made up. So how do you see that from like a standpoint of recruiting? Do you think that we should I guess lower it to be more realistic to civilian sector, or do you think that we should just as long as we can explain it on a resume, it's worth putting in there?
Yeah, I would. Numbers are impactful, and from being in the military, once again, I may read it and see something different, but I'll tell you from the eyes of maybe my CFO, when he looks at that money, he wants to see the mass savings. What have you been able to accomplish? How much you've been able to save? So don't fluff it down. I went over fluff it either, right? Because they know if you're in the $100 million range, I mean, we're not saving the military $100 million, but definitely numbers are key, especially in positions where you will be trying to save money.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
So, Eric, you did the corporate thing before joining the Army, right? I mean, what drove you to, go to the Army later in life and then come back to corporate? How was that transition back and forth for you?
I actually didn't. I
In
enlisted in
college?
the
Okay.
North Carolina National Guard while I was in college, and then received a commission through ROTC after college. So I've really just known the military my entire my entire life, really, until February of this year when I transitioned out.
So how was that transition from high speed, low drag to what you're doing now?
Well, I'm still in the Alabama National Guard Special Forces, which sounds made up, but it's real. So I still get to do some of the high speed stuff now and again. But it really, and going back to my earlier point, my biggest thing was how do I go from leading a high performing team and finding my purpose in that to you know working a 9 to 5 job. And it really took me sitting down and examining what my own values were, both, at a personal level and a professional level. What was going to get me up out of work every day or out of bed every day to go to work and be excited about what I was doing. For a lot of people, that's freedom and flexibility. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's having a good work-life balance. For other people, it's training and mentoring and leading teams. So really just taking an examination of what you have done up until this point and what you want to do in the future. I know there's a lot of folks that hit that 20-year mark and it's just like, hey, I just want to, retire to Fort Living Room. I just want to watch the kids. It's my wife's turn or it's my husband's turn to go follow their dream. And that's well and good if that's what you want to do. But it really just takes a very thorough self-examination of, what's going to keep you going and what's going to keep you happy.
Fort living room. I love that because my buddy, my son's always making forts in there. Now that's going to ring even harder for me. So Dave, why do you think so many people will apply online and never get traction? What are the mistakes you see there?
I think not customizing their resume for the specific job they're applying for. I'll use some of the resume builders that we all have used. Best military resume. I know that's a huge one for a Legion. I believe, I'm not sure if you guys use it as well, Ernest. But that one, people go in, they put their initial resume and they're hoping AI catches everything and modifies it. You really got to go in and customize it for each position that you apply for. You have to look at what they're looking for and make sure you hit the bullet points and match that. If you need help with it, it's not far off to go on to Chat GPT or one of these AIs and kind of put in what the resume says and ask for some bullet points, but you still have to customize it. So when they read that resume, they really got to see that it was custom to their job and what they're looking for. You have those skills.
Yeah, you got to put in the homework to show them that you mean it.
Yeah.
It's so easy to make that mistake and just say, close enough, send it. And then you wonder why you don't get sent anything sent back. It goes both ways. So, Eric, this one's for you. How did your time in SF and UD shape the way you now approach the leadership and the business side of things? Because obviously you're going to be doing some things that are drastically different than what you do now.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But some of those lessons must have stuck with you.
yeah. Everything in leadership and management, it rhymes with one another. People are going to have the same issues on a special forces ODA that they have, in a sales team. So I think the biggest thing that I've had to navigate and I'm sure other folks have heard this is kind of just tweaking your communication style a little bit. And, whereas before I was, very direct in my communication and telling folks exactly what to do and where to be kind of thing. It's taking more of a listening approach. I think that I've definitely grown in the past 8 9 months as a sales manager, listening to people and hearing what they need in terms of support, rather than directing them towards a mission or an objective, so to speak.
Got it. So, how should vets use LinkedIn to build credibility instead of just posting resumes? What are some of the techniques you've seen where it's like, yeah, this cat gets it, or this one's just throwing stuff at the wall? Sorry,
I
Dave.
think Jen. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
Hi, if you got something, go for it, man. I'm not here to stop.
I'm not a huge LinkedIn guy. Y'all are free to add me on LinkedIn, but the I think the genuine interactions that happen on LinkedIn, um, because LinkedIn can be a lot of fluff and it can be a lot of, oh, great point here, great point there. Like it almost feels like, an online college forum at some points, where people are just kind of, high-fiving each other. But I think when there's genuine interactions, it really can expand, your network, so to speak. And what I mean by that, I made a post on a friend's post about something regarding, irregular warfare policy, and I got hit up by, a contractor that happened to be a connection with that friend. And I think if, you take the time, maybe 15, 20 minutes a day, and you kind of scroll through your LinkedIn and you see something that, maybe piques your interest or is part of your wheelhouse of expertise, is to providing input and providing feedback on maybe something or some article that somebody's posted, because it will get you exposure to people in that industry.
Makes a lot of sense. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I'd have to second that what Eric said. Conversation, connections, right? I think your biggest task as you transition out is to network, to build your network, interact with people. And it's not just connecting, hey, follow somebody on LinkedIn. It's having that genuine conversation, reaching out, having some feedback. I tell you, stay away from, in my opinion, the photos. This is in Facebook and Instagram. Stay away from you and your family out at the lake. Stay away from the political comments and things like that. This is definitely a professional atmosphere where employers are looking at you. They're looking to see how you engage people, your genuine interaction, the way you speak. So those things are vital. I look at LinkedIn's all day and see, okay, this person may be great for the company. Maybe even if it isn't in the sales role that we're highly looking for, maybe they do something else that I pass their name on to one of my counterparts. I think that's extremely important.
Got it. Hey, Lauren's got a question. Go ahead.
Hi, sorry, I'm a bit under the weather. So, my question is for the resumes, does it have to be that 2 pages, or can it be that 1 page? Or do you just pick a few things that you've done over your master resume into those 2 pages? I just want to know, like, how do you really get it to that 2 page if it needs to be 2 pages? Like, do you pick and choose from your master resume to make it that 2 pages, or can it be 1 page? Does it have to be two?
So, in regards to the 2 pages and the picking and choosing from the master resume, definitely want to pick and choose. You don't want to cut down too much. I've seen a lot of one pagers, and I think what happens with one pagers, there's not enough information. Now, you may have enough. One of the things is that, and I learned in my transition, I had multiple jobs on recruiting duty, and I tried to put each one of those jobs in titles, and then it made my resume 3 pages. So then I grouped them together if they were essentially the same thing, and just block those times together. So I think looking at the job you're applying for, pulling from your master resume, what fits those the best, elongating the timeline, right? Because you're in service for however long you were in service. And then the other thing is up top, the statement about you and what you're looking for. That's extremely impactful. I read those. That's the first thing I read. Who is this person? What are they trying to do? What are their goals? Do they fit the culture? And so that is one of the main things I look, even more than experience, because I want to see what you're looking to do, who you're looking to become. To Eric's point, as you transition out, some people don't want to work a full-time job. Some people don't want to be out on the grind. Some people don't want to interact and want to be remote. Those things are important to know as an employer, because I'm looking for those highly aggressive, intelligent people that want to be extremely successful, and then may not want to just relax. And there's nothing wrong with relaxing, right? You've done your time in the service. It's time to relax if that's where you're at. For me, I just wasn't there. I didn't make my retirement's not enough in California for me to relax, unfortunately, and hang out on the couch. So just some examples there. Hopefully that helps.
Good deal. Hey, Nicholas, go ahead.
This is more for Eric. Can you hear me, Eric?
Yes, sir.
So I read your profile a little bit out of Jacksonville. It looks like you sell Medicare.
Yeah, we do Medicare, life insurance, as well as retirement planning as well.
Okay, so I got offered a sales job for doing that as well. You have to get a 215 license, I guess, here in the state of Florida. I
Yep.
guess how compensation wise, it's all 1099. How's that? Is it pretty good with leads, or do you have to go out and get leads, or how's all this work?
Well, it's going to depend on the marketing organization in the industry. It's called an FMO or an IMO, and it's really dependent. So at TAG, at the Assurance Group, we're an insurance marketing organization. We have our own in-house leads department. So our leads are great. I can't speak to other brokerages and how they operate. A lot of brokerages in the industry, they require you to pay out of pocket for your own leads. And so that introduces an overhead expense of sometimes between $1,500 to $2,000 a week. We don't have that at the Assurance Group. We provide them free to all of our agents, and they're good. They're direct mail leads that are hand filled out by the person that you're going to see. And kind of tying this back into the whole LinkedIn thing, we conduct 99% of our business in person in folks' homes. So I'm not not a huge LinkedIn fan. So this kind of pertains to everybody here in the call, but it's all about who you know. Probably heard that a million times. Networking in person is going to be networking on LinkedIn 100% of the time. And that's how we do our business at TAG is meeting people in person, building that genuine credibility and rapport with them, and establishing lifelong relationships. You're going to get offered jobs a lot more. Obviously, have your resume tight and everything, but go out, meet people, go to job fairs, talk to people at restaurants, talk to people at bars. You'll be surprised how many people are looking to hire good people.
Copy. Thank you.
So Eric, how'd you leverage your network to break into the industry?
You know what? I didn't really do that. I heard David come and talk, and it was honestly perfect timing for me because, like I said, I took a thorough introspection on what I valued in a career, and that was, the freedom and flexibility, being paid what I was worth. I had a decent amount of job offers working in the defense industry as a contractor, and I felt I was worth more. So when I heard David come and speak at Allegiant Vets about a year ago, I was really drawn to the idea of, wow, I can be paid what I'm actually worth. I can work the hours that I want to work. I can work where I want to work. Nobody's going to be breathing down my neck. So really, I personally didn't leverage my network at all. Now, since I've been out, I've still been receiving job offers and stuff, but I'm happy where I'm at. I know a lot of people in the military industrial complex, and working for someone else's dollar rather than working for myself and establishing my own book of business into perpetuity. It just really doesn't compare.
Pretty good stuff. Dave, when you coach vets, what's the number one mistake that you see us make in the search strategy? What's the one thing where you're like, dang it, stop this?
You cut out for me on my end. What'd you say, Ernest?
So when you coach vets, what's the number one mistake you see when you see us, on the job search where you're just like, stop doing that? What's the one that's most common for you?
I would say applying for every job under the sun, even if they don't want it, because the oversaturation of it, you can't really focus on the jobs you want. To go back to Eric's point, right? You got to find a good culture fit, a company you want to work for. So I think that's it. You spend a lot of time on jobs that you're never going to take. So really focus on where you want to be, the careers you want to be at, what you're looking for long term, and focus there. I think that's the biggest thing when I help veterans is really sitting down with them and finding out what they really want to do next. because that eliminates a lot of jobs. I go back to our job. This job isn't for everybody, right? Being um, out in the community, talking to people 65 and over, helping them with life insurance and their Medicare plans. That's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be out talking to people every day. So when I'm meeting with veterans, I do that because I meet with veterans not just for our job, just to help them in general. And it's like, what do you want to do next? What does that time look like? How much energy do you want to put in? I think that's the important part because a lot of veterans waste a lot of time on jobs they're never going to take.
Yeah, it's I know I've been guilty of that. So, on Eric, you've done the high pressure life and death environments, that kind of stuff. So how does that, help you handle perspectives and problems in corporate life? I mean, because you got to look at some of this stuff and go, that is not something to worry about. And other things where you're like, yeah, this is urgent.
Yeah, it's a really approach. I would say, 90, again, using this 99% of the interactions I have are, with my clients. And a lot of these folks, they have their own issues. So it's really just being a listening ear. And a lot of these folks don't have access to insurance brokerages or people that can really help them with their Medicare or their problems. So, I hear some of their problems sometimes, and I just got back from a trip to Colorado where I was hanging off the side of a mountain. So sometimes I hear these problems and I'm just like, hey, it's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it's just tempering your communication and being a good listener and having, empathy and sympathy for their specific situation.
Yeah, it's listening goes a long ways. There's no way around that. So, Dave, from a careers view, what are the top industries hungry for veteran talent now and then into the future? Where do you think those, we can make the best impact and fit the best?
So,
Tough one.
what's that?
That's a tough one. I get it.
Yeah, that one's a tough one as far as industry. I'd say like I noticed a lot of veterans going forward with cyber. I've talked to, but I will be honest, I've had interviewed so many people from cyber that are looking to get out. I think sales is a great industry for veterans that are looking really exactly what Eric said to get paid their worth. Now, if it's a 9 to 5 they're looking for, I think, that cyber IT realm is extremely important. The AI side of things, get in there, learn that, learn the education that's out there. There's countless jobs I see that. But if you're looking to really make a great income, double, triple what you're currently making right now, sales is the way to go. And just really kind of what type of sales job. And I would love, I mean, and hopefully if we're not getting too not getting too specific, Eric, with it, but coming in your first year, if you could kind of tell them what tag and that income level is look like for you, that would be great to give them an idea.
Yeah. So really, I would say I joined TAG in December. I really didn't start getting into the field until about the beginning of March timeframe. Uh, by about March of next year, I'll probably have made around $170,000 or so. It kind of just depends on how my Medicare season this fall goes. I anticipate getting about 150 to 200 clients, so about 100,000 in life insurance sales, and then probably another 60 or 70,000 in terms of Medicare. And I quickly came into a managerial position, so we do have override commissions on agents that I train and mentor as well. So but just off my own pen, probably $170,000 or so my first year. And nobody in this industry really makes less than they did the year before, just because of residual incomes, your book of business continuing to grow and so forth.
So talk to me about the training there and what jobs that, you have to fill.
In terms of training
Yeah. So, I mean,
or
like,
production.
what was the train like there? And then like, what jobs are you looking to fill? What kind of people are you looking for?
So we're looking for, and I can use my own perspective for this one a little bit. So I really thought that I, wanted to come out of the military and start my own business. Um, you really want to have like an entrepreneurial spirit to you, and again, going back to being paid what you're worth, every second that you put into this um, to an industry is you're paid for back. So that was really what was important to me. So looking for those folks that have that kind of entrepreneurial spirit to them, but maybe don't want to take the risk of uh, the overhead expenses with starting a business, waiting years to get any kind of return. It's my first year. I'm making more than I did as a pretty senior captain in the Army, and people that are able to work autonomously, that are self starters, because a lot of this job is being out on your own. You pull your leads down by yourself, you get out by yourself, you drive to your first appointment by yourself. So uh, people that are driven, whether that's monetarily or because they want to help people in the community, or just create a better lives for themselves.
What are your thoughts on that, Dave?
Yeah, so I think you asked training. So what the training looks like for us, I think that's important because I think we hear this, hey, I can make 150, $200,000 a year, and it seems almost unrealistic. And I heard the same thing when I first, were coming on. I was a Allegiant vet student prior to becoming a recruiter at the Assurance Group and bringing people on like Eric. And so the training's huge. So we walk all of our veterans who have that spirit that Eric's talking about, who want to make a great living, who want to be independent. And we put them through an online training course, which is 40 hours to get their 215 license. And then we in-person train them. And we do almost, in my opinion, and correct me if you guys do something different, Eric, but a show, observe, show format where we take our agents out and we show them several days in the life, take them through appointments with clients, through our quoting tools, just everything that under the sun that you do as an agent. And that lasts for several days. And then in turn, that manager will go with you for several days and walk you through and do the OJT with you and watch you do the sales and watch you talk to clients and develop you on the sales aspect. And then he'll bring you back again and watch him one more time. And then you'll be in the field for a little while because just like anything, you don't really know what you're going to need to ask until you're out in the field on your own. And then that's when you get a ton of questions and you need help. And there's managers like Eric there who are there to answer the phone at the drop of a dime. So that's what that training portion looks like. And the training consists, it's a weekly basis. We continue to do development and training. You don't need to have a sales background to be successful in our industry, right? It's truly more about desire and work ethic. If you're a veteran that has a great desire, great work ethic, and wants to make a great living, those are the people we're looking for. We're looking to hire agents across the nation right now that want to sell life and health insurance. And 1099 commission-based opportunity, that's a scary thing for anybody. And I always touch that because I want every veteran to know, right? When you come in, you're only going to get paid if you make sales. But the great thing about our company compared to others, and I know Nicholas was talking a little bit about his opportunity. I don't know what company he's going with, but not every company provides you leads. Whereas a brand new agent, they're going to give you names and numbers and people to talk to right away where you're just showing up and talking to people that are genuinely interested in the product. A lot of other companies make you pay for the leads, which you're in the red right away, or they make you build your own book of business. You're that annoying person at your family reunion that's trying to sell to your aunts and uncles and all your cousins, right? And everybody's running away from you. So we take that out of the equation and we provide great quality leads. So we're really looking for just great veterans who want to make a great income and aren't afraid to be out there and talk to people. And lastly, want to help people. I think that's the other thing that you'll probably miss when you transition out of the service. We all have like friends that are just, we're there every day. We talk to them every day because of work. And Eric, I mean, I'm sure that the EOD guys and the beret guys are probably a lot closer than most. But when you go away, those guys and girls are focused on their jobs, right? So they're still working every day. So you don't talk to them as much. We have a huge family culture here as well, where you're going to talk to people every day and that are going to be there to support you. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, that's great stuff. You mentioned you had a PowerPoint you want to go through. I didn't want to run out of time before you could address that. Do you want to bring that up?
I mean, if we have any more questions from the field before we go through it, I'd love to answer anything. I'd love Eric to talk a little bit. It's probably even more impactful for Eric to talk than use a PowerPoint and talk a little bit about his day, who he helps, how it works, things like that, if you don't mind, Eric.
Yeah. Tell us about that
Sure.
here.
Sure. And I just wanted to touch on what some of the stuff that David said there. That's exactly how, training is formulated within my team and my larger regional team. Um, from where y'all are sitting right now, you could potentially be making your first sale 5 to 6 weeks from now. It's that quick of a training process. And I generally, spend about 2 weeks one-on-one with new agents, ensuring that they have all the tools necessary to be successful out in the field. But even, let's say 2 months from now, you decide, hey, I want to get my 0215 license if you're in Florida, or you you could potentially uh, be a full-fledged broker in a couple months, and I'm always there, as a mentor to help you out. One thing, was there a question that popped up? I thought I saw a hand. But a little bit about essentially a day in the life. So I wake up at 5:30, go to the gym, get my day organized. I'm probably hitting my first appointment around 10:30, 11 a.m. And I'm working till about 5:30, 6 p.m. Now, that's just me. I work 5 days a week. There are some folks that just work Saturdays and Sundays. There are some folks that work 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday. It's however you want to slice it. There's no production quota. There's no, hey, you need to meet this certain amount or else you get kicked out. With that being said, if you're not consistent with it, you're not going to be successful. It's the name of the game. Sales can be it can be a mentally tough industry, but like David said, very family oriented environment at Tag, to the point where I call folks I consider my sales team like my friends. Like, we hang out outside of work. We're going to Slidell, Louisiana this weekend, and probably going to have a pretty good time getting prepared for Medicare kickoff. I'm sorry, I kind of lost the plot there. What was the question?
It's talking about day in the life.
Okay. All right. So I kind of got
things you got to do to be successful. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's really just, we're looking for people that have that intrinsic motivation to be more, to do more, to be paid what they're worth, rather than to just show up for 9 to 5.
So, who is the person who absolutely shouldn't do this kind of work? What's the kind of person where they think, oh, I'll make good money, and they're like, no, dude, this is not the job for you.
Yeah, I mean, the person who was dodging their duties and responsibilities while they're in the military, the person who you walk up to their shop and is like, oh, shop's closed, we're at lunch, and it's 10 a.m. Those are the kind of people that we don't want.
The just get by guy.
Correct. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you have to have some kind of it's a solo sport, so you need to be motivated.
So, I mean, how much do you feel like mentorship played a role in your transition, Eric? I mean, did you find the right mentor? I mean, or did you just kind of figure it out?
I've had a couple mentors. I really have yet to identify what I would consider a mentor in my current industry, which is, sales. But I have had a lot of, professional mentors on the military side of things that, I was kind of doubting myself, because I really consider myself an introvert. So the prospect of going out and talking to new people every single day, it kind of scared me. I didn't know if I was cut out for it, or would be, even really good at it. Like, I've been told I can be abrasive at sometimes. But I had a couple mentors that really kind of hyped me up and was like, no, you'd be amazing at sales. Like, I was like, how do you know? I've never sold anything a day in my life. It's like, so it's really important to have mentors, because they see things in you that you don't see. They can see potential, they can identify potential. And sometimes all it takes is just someone saying, hey, no, you'd be good at that, to give you kind of the push over the edge to at least, give it a try.
That's good stuff. David, what's been your kind of, outside of Eric, what's been the best success story where you brought in a veteran, and then seen them absolutely kill it. I mean, what was the story behind that person? What motivated them? Where'd they come from?
Besides Eric, because Eric's probably our top. Like he's manager within record time. I would think somebody on Eric's team who's in Florida, Fran. And so, yeah, and Eric could kind of touch base on more on Fran, but I spoke to Fran. She was exiting the service and 20 years. And she was, just like Eric said, sounded really, she was an expert in her field, sounded a little abrasive, wasn't really sure, but wanted to make a great income, wanted to have some flexibility. I know, and when I say abrasive, I don't mean like in a negative way, just a very straightforward person, just matter of fact of the way it was. She's came on and she's done a phenomenal job and crushed it. I would say she's on track to make over six figures as well, easily this year in her first year. She's initially had some struggles with the test. So the testing portion, right, Eric, was a little hard for her. I think she took it several times. Even going through the course, she just, for her, that test portion, she wasn't comfortable taking tests. It just was a little harder for her. She was doubting. The manager, the regional sales director, really believed in her. Eric really believed in them. And she was going to stop moving forward. I believe they went and paid for her second test. It was like, look, I'll pay for the test. We believe in you. We believe you got what it takes. They paid for the test, got her to take her second test, and now she is just crushing it. Just her interaction with her people, her love to help people. That's the other thing. I mean, the people we're helping are middle to low income families a lot of time. We do help every range, but we're making a significant impact when we leave that house. We're giving them life insurance that they maybe didn't even know they could afford. How many times have we seen people that are on the corners with signs trying to help bury, their grandmother, their grandfather, things like that, because the family doesn't have money. So she's really related extremely well to people, and she's just done a phenomenal job since coming on. So I think Fran was one of our biggest success stories as well.
Yeah, she's definitely the standout in my mind. And I'll be honest, there was times, I thought maybe she wouldn't be a good fit for this. However, at the time I was a very new manager. I didn't know exactly what it took to be successful at this. And there was a point made on our call this morning that there's not any specific archetype that's like you need to be this, you need to be that in order to be successful. It's really just you have to have the desire to want to do it, to help people. And again, to David's point, a lot of these folks, like, they just don't have access to the resources available to them. So it's not uncommon for me to go into a home where their household income is $1,200 a month and save them $300 or $400 a month, whether it's on prescription medications or just way overpaying for life insurance with another company. And when you save someone essentially what is 30-40% of their monthly income, like that's like life changing. So it's not uncommon for folks to be like crying on my arm saying God sent you to this house today, and it feels good. It's like you can really do good for other people.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked about the military is you always knew you were, in the long run doing something positive. So two things. One, you guys are awesome for, stepping up and saying, hey, we're going to pay for that second one. We believe in you. Because there's a lot of places out there that'd be like, oh, well, another failure. We'll just fill that slot. So, I mean, good on you. But the other one, what was Fran's background in the military? What was Fran doing before selling insurance?
She was an IT specialist.
Yeah, so that's quite the transition from going from what I call the nerdery in the back work with computers to talking to people and getting out there and mixing it up. So I can definitely see where at first you're like, this is going to be a tough one, but once you got Fran out of the shell, I mean that speaks a lot to the training and
Yeah,
support too. So
she's absolutely killing it.
nothing makes me happier than to hear that, man. Thank you. So on your side of thing, Dave, if veterans struggling to get callbacks, what's a practical action that you think they could take this week to get in the game to to get that callback or to get noticed enough to at least Hey, how you doing?
Connect with the connect with the recruiter on LinkedIn and reach out and ask about that specific position. Don't wait for somebody to call you. Be aggressive and call them. Connect that way. If you can find their info, give them a call. People appreciate that. Recruiters appreciate that. Hiring managers appreciate that. They're not going to be frustrated with it. They're going to be happy and see that it's somebody that's interested in the job. And you may find that it was something in your resume that they didn't like, or you may find that it was something you were missing, and they may give you that feedback, and it may not help you for that specific job, but it may help you for 3 other jobs. So be aggressive, reach out, look for their recruiter, who's hiring, who's the hiring manager, and get in contact quickly with that person. And if you can't find that person, find somebody in the company itself. So maybe you're trying to get hired with Walmart and be a regional manager there, and that position's open, and you can't find the hiring manager. Look for another regional manager from Walmart and see if they can connect you themselves. That's an example of something. I would tell you, just be aggressive with your connections and really network.
Nicholas, go ahead.
Question: do y'all offer quarterly bonuses as well for production?
There's bonuses that are happening at any given time. For instance, I think the bonus that's going on right now is if you increase your production in September from your July and August average by 15%, I think it's something like $2,000 or $3,000 in bonuses or something like that, David. And then there's always, because we're a brokerage, we have access to like 20 or 30, 40 different carriers. There's always some kind of bonus going on with the carrier itself. So I think the most recent one I could think of was like SkillBridge, formerly known as AIG, was like, hey, if you write 5 applications, 5 life policies, you get a $750 bonus up to $7,000 for 25 policies, which is like it's entirely feasible to get up to that. So there's always bonuses going on. Additionally, we have an annual sales trip. This year was Dublin, Ireland. Next year is Opal Sands in Clearwater, Florida. It's a 5-star resort. Everything's paid for. David could probably speak on that a little bit more.
Yeah, so to that point, Nicholas, yeah, there's quarterly bonuses. There's bonuses based off of certain things you sell. And then the yearly sales event is recognition, right? I think that's extremely important. Anybody, just in general, no matter what job you do, you want to be recognized. So we recognize our top salespeople throughout the year. And so last year with Dublin, Ireland, the company paid for that agent and one significant other, friend, family, whatever the case may be, to go to Dublin, Ireland, and all expenses paid, food paid for, per diem, everything. And this next year is going to be Opal Sands, all-inclusive resort. Once again, everything paid for, airfare, and that's just hey, thank you for doing a phenomenal job this last year. And so I know we've talked a little bit about our job, but I at least want to give a quick rundown of what we do, Ernest, if you don't mind.
Go.
I know we've kind of walked around it, but what do we do? So the Assurance Group, we sell life and health insurance. We primarily focus on the 65 and over community and supporting them. Now, with that, you have to have a life and health insurance license. We help you do that. We help you get your license. We help walk you through that. We help get you developed and trained to be out in the field. Like Eric said, on average, we have anybody that's interested in this career in the field within 5 weeks, making a great income. Now, what is a great income? Our average first-year agents with no experience are making anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 a year, and uncapped commissions, so you can make more. As Eric said, he's one of the top guys already in his first year, and he's going to make well over $150,000 a year, and it's going to continue to grow up. You get residual income on Medicare, and what that looks like is Medicare is very low cost, almost no cost sometimes to our clients, right? We're supporting somebody with something they have to have. Everybody 65 and over has to have it. So it's not even almost like a sale. It's more of consultative selling, helping somebody, making sure they have the right product. You build residual income, and that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to make income while they're asleep. What that residual income results in is, on average, I believe it's like $240 a year per person. So if you sign up 100 people In a year, that's $2,000, give or take. And that continues to grow year after year. I have an agent who's been in the industry for 8 years, Christian. He said he has 1,500 Medicare clients. When you do that math, he makes anywhere between $27,000 to $30,000 a month in residual income alone. So life-changing money, being able to be your own boss, make your own schedule. Really, what more could you ask for? Now, just like I said before, it's one of those things, sounds too good to be true. It is too good to be true if you don't have great work ethic, if you're not self-motivated, if you can't manage yourself, right? It is too good to be true. However, if you could do all these things and you're looking to get out in the community, help people, make a great income, this could be a job for you. What I would tell you is I put our link in there. Look at our website. Come and talk to me. After you talk to me, if you want to talk to Eric, we'll get you connected with Eric as well. Don't shut this opportunity off if you're looking for your next career. This could be a great one for you. So just want to give that rundown, Ernest, of what we do, how we impact, the potential that's out there for these veterans. And it's not for everybody. I mean, I've been on calls with veterans and I've said, hey, this may not be for you, honestly. But for those of you that are looking to make a great income and be a self-starter and manage yourself, this could be your next career. You got anything on that, Eric?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw some context in there because I know we keep harping on like work ethic and like being a self-starter and that kind of thing. When we say like work ethic, we're not talking like 100 hours a week. Like I'm in the field maybe 35 hours a week. Now there's some extra hours on top of that in terms of like admin, commuting to and fro kind of thing. So I mean, at the end of the day, I maybe work about 50 hours a week. So yeah, it's a full-time job. That's it. To be successful, you got to work it like you work a full-time job. But we're not talking anything like crazy, like you're working, 18 hours a day and getting 3 hours of sleep a night and not spending any time with your families. I take weekends off. Like it's nothing that, you should be scared of.
Good stuff. Dave, Eric, thanks a ton for coming out. Do you guys have any closing thoughts you'd like to share with the group? Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I would tell you just once again, I really harp on the culture of a company and making sure you find a fit for you and what you want to do. I started as a recruiter and now I'm the VP of recruiting. Eric started as an agent and now he's a regional manager. So the potential is there. We saw potential in a company. We saw a culture and a fit that matched with us and what we wanted to do in our life, and it was a great fit. And we've been promoted up since. So that's where you want to be. You want to find a company that fits your goals in life, fits what you want out of life. Please reach out on LinkedIn. I know our LinkedIn's there. My post is there as well from my page. We'd love to connect with any veteran that needs any conversation or help, not even just with our company, just in general. That's what I'll leave with the group. And then over to you, Eric.
Yeah, just parting shot kind of on David's point there. Just take a piece of paper and just write down like what you want in a job and what you don't want in a job and just kind of rank it appropriately. And then find a job that, or a career that really aligns with those values.
Throws up, sorry. So, hey guys, thank you very much for coming out, drop some wisdom, your day in your life of your work, the background, all that kind of stuff. I'm glad to see you two are freaking killing it. That kind of stuff makes me happy to see you guys transition out and not only do well, but are willing to share like, hey, this is how I got here. This is what you need to do, especially the no BS. Like, hey, you got to get up and you got to work, but the money is there to be had. And even better, you get to help people, which is something I find tremendously rewarding. I can make less money if I'm helping people, and that's fine. But if you could do both, God bless you. So much the better. So, hey, Dave Granillo, Eric Manderback of the Assurance Group. I always look forward to seeing you guys again. And I thank you very much for taking some time out here with us today. Y'all take care. Hey,
Thank you, Ernest.